And new most powerful character in all the MCU, Loki!
The god of stories.
Good
And
Lord,
Amelia
let's
Clark.
get into it. Welcome back, guys, gals, and other pals, to another edition of The Final Credits. And this time, we are going to be taking a look at Season 2 of Loki. Now, the first season, I was kind of, on the fence with this, but, that's also because I have a personal reference for, stories that involve time travel. I always just see them as messy and just things that it hurts my brain. It hurts my brain to think about time travel the same way that Johnny feels about different dimensions and multiverse stuff. That's how I feel about time travel. Having said that, Loki season 2, I really did feel like they really did try to clean up a lot of the explanations with time travel to the point that you really can follow it to the best of your ability. You'll get lost every now and then. Well, not so much lost, but you'll get turned around every hot second. You may need to rewind a little bit, but for the most part, you should understand everything. And right now, honestly, this may be up there with one of my favorite Disney Plus shows that Marvel's put out.
I totally
think
agree
it
with
might be the favorite, honestly. I think it's top. I think even above WandaVision. The way that
Really?
season 2, yeah.
I don't know, man.
For the most part, I mean, I'm sure this wasn't without its plot holes here and there, maybe, but they definitely crossed their T's and dotted their I's with their writing a lot more than other recent Marvel projects we've watched. Especially things like the Marvels and things like Thor: Love and Thunder and whatnot. This was thought out. This had an extra layer to it.
Yeah, I think you're right on that, but I think that WandaVision was more of an emotional thing than Loki season 2 was, and that's why I still feel like WandaVision was better because it pulled on your heartstrings even more. Even though in the Loki series, you see a Loki that is not the regular Loki that we're used to, and he actually is probably better than the Loki that died at Thanos' hand.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
I will agree that it's in the top 3.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
fair.
way better than season 1. Way
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Pancakes, what about you?
Probably because of recency bias. This one's the best season of any of the shows since the Disney Plus shows started. It's definitely up there. I think it even has to surpass WandaVision because I feel like this one season alone was beautifully well done, well written. The scenery, Tom Hiddleston in this cast just kept hitting a home run. I also love it. I have to call it the best because I get the previous shows are more of a mini series, and after each one we were calling for a season 2. But here we actually got the season 2, and it was definitely better than season 1. We saw the dynamic, the great chemistry that Loki had with the other characters, and this was definitely an emotional journey too that got a great payoff at the end. I think this could be the best Disney Plus Marvel show that's been put out so far.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the next season's going on because correct me if I'm wrong, guys. When they first said that we're going to start making TV shows and put them on Disney Plus, the original 3 that were announced was WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Loki. Am I right?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. So, out of those 3 shows, the only one that we got a guaranteed season 2 was Loki. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, these other 2 shows were great. Why are we not getting a season 2 of those? Why? Especially with the ending of the first season of Loki. Completely take back that statement right now. This season 2 was, I can't put it into words. I really can't. It was it was phenomenal. Unfortunately, when going through the credits, I may have missed it or not. We did get we'll see Loki in season 3. I think this may be the end of it, and if it is, hell of a send off. My God.
Well,
I mean,
here's
even
the
Tom
thing.
Hiddleston said. I think even Tom Hiddleston said that this is like kind of his retirement of the character. So, which makes
he kind of
sense.
hinted at that when he was on not Kimmel, Fallon. He was on Fallon saying that was the end of Loki. But is it really? I think it's a fake out.
Unless you give another variant a chance, like there's nothing else this Loki can do. This is the end of
larger
his story.
Scale. Think
Guys,
larger scale.
This is the fanboy in me coming out for this one. Should we get to Secret Wars and we do see like some Thor shenanigans stuff and everything, I would scream if Loki comes in, like this Loki comes in and saves Thor for a hot second and says like, story isn't over yet, brother. I would die.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would. I would.
Done.
That's why I'm saying think larger picture. There's no way he's going to just be that's the end of Loki.
But that's like a single scene, like end of the movie, and then we don't see him again. Like like there's no other like story arc that we should get from him at this point. You know, like we know where he is from all time now. Like this is where he sits. This is what he's doing.
So work with me here. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
He may be the god of stories now, and he has all his overpowered powers that he's able to hold on to the multiverse and, you know, keep it going. But that means that Kang and all his other variants will be like, ooh, we have to take out Loki in order for us to be top dog again. So you need that. You need, obviously he won't be in the next, you know, whatever movie, but there's going to be mention of him, or a Kang is going to say something along the lines of, you know, Loki really screwed us over. We got to go back to the TVA and do something. They're going to do that. And then
the title that they're definitely going to use for something like that would be like, Kang would be talking about like, no, the usurper to my throne or something along those lines.
Yeah.
It's possible. It's definitely possible.
One thing I noticed throughout the 6 episodes, we saw just hints and Loki using his magic very minimum. He used it in certain moments that it mattered, but then when we got the ending that we got, it made sense to see it in its full glory. So I'm kind of glad they kind of humanized Loki in the way, looking back on it, and you know, we don't have that lack of Loki powers conversation, but the way that they made us wait and say Loki, you know, to steal Daryl's line from an after credit scene. He's like, okay, I'll do it myself because the Groundhog Day montage wasn't working, you know, even spending centuries learning physics.
Go ahead. That was phenomenal in every way, shape, and form. But there's also like moments of like, oh no, you get in the suit and you do it. Or, you know, yeah, he volunteered. And I'm just sitting here like, my dude, you have a god on the team. Why are you not putting the god in the suit to go do the thing? And
he needs no suit.
Eventually they did it, and I'm like, well, I see why you did it, but that was a long walk for a short.
Well, remember, yeah, I mean, I think as much time as Loki took, and we're talking centuries, to learn everything that both Timely and QB knew. Also, QB is probably one of my favorite Disney Plus characters, period, right now.
Obi.
Obi.
But I was about to say, you mean Obi?
Obi, yeah.
Oh my god. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Ki-Hu Kwan. Just being a king as usual. But I think at first
in this, by the way.
Yes, yeah, definitely a highlight of the show. But I think at first Loki thought like either he or Timely are going to be the ones to know exactly what to do once I put them out there. So let me have them do their work, and I'll do what I know what to do here. But then after he learned everything he needs to know about quantum whatever, he thought he still had to go by that blueprint, And then, at one point the lights went off rather in his head, or on in his head. And he said, like, actually, no, he had that realization, like, what if, we put somebody better than He Who Remains in that seat? I have to be the one to do what I'm trying to get.
And why is that? Because he was burdened with this glorious
purpose. Glorious purpose, which I love. The fact that that's the name of the last episode and the first episode of this whole show.
So my question to you guys is, in this one series, or rather in this one season, we saw 2 versions of Kang, Timely and He Who Remains. Which one was your favorite?
He Who Remains.
Timely.
No.
Timely. I think
okay. The answer is, like, they're both great. I definitely prefer He Who Remains because it is the throwback to the first season, and it is a reminder of why I was scared of Kang to begin with. I literally just picked up right where he left off with this entire monologue of, like, oh, yeah, this isn't the first time we've had this conversation before, is it? Oh, did you figure out how to do this yet? Or maybe pause? Oh, you did figure out how to pause. Okay, this definitely isn't the first conversation. Chills the entire time. I'm like, this is Unstoppable Force meets Immovable Object for a hot second. How's it going to come on top? Who's going to win this chess match?
Big Graham, you were just saying everything.
Agree with that, actually.
Big Grim, you were saying everything I was thinking. I have to go with him too as a better Kane variant because we got the throwback. They went back in time to the season 1 finale, and he finally turned to him. He's like, "Are you going to fight back?" And he finally revealed his cards, knowing all these events were going to play out as they were. Pausing events, and he's like, "Oh, have you met Victor Timely?" Just
because he knew about him. He knows about all of his variants. He knows about all of them. I know what you're right. I will shift my opinion to He Who Remains. As much as I love his Jonathan Majors performance of Timely, I think he was, like, definitely
phenomenal.
What he did, like that scene where they had that whole conversation, He Who Remains and Loki. That's what set it apart from pretty much like almost every other, like, phase 4, phase 5 climax scene in any movie or show that we've got so far. Because, like, it didn't devolve into, like, a CGI pew pew fight scene. Like, this is what, like, sets it apart from, like, WandaVision, what we were talking about before, because this had a much better ending than WandaVision. I'm sorry, like, WandaVision kind of dropped the ball once everything came out about, like, Agatha and all that stuff. They just turned into a red versus blue beam fight. CGI. It took itself more seriously than that. It was, like, intellectual. You had to pay attention. There were things that, like, like little details that they, like, it was all about the, like, intellect behind what they were doing and, like, the psychological aspect of it all. And I thought it was, like, kind of genius, like, the way that they handled all of that. And, like, the time, like, I don't even know what to describe it as, but, like, just like the multiverse aspect of it. It almost made me like the multiverse. So good job, guys. It was they actually tried to explain it. They actually tried to, like, make something logical out of it. And I'm like, okay, this is more than just an excuse to get fan service or cameos and things like that. They're actually trying to explain how this works from a natural sense and, like, what you could do with it if you had the power to control it. That's what I want to see from it, like a multiverse story. And they really almost nailed it, in my opinion, or did nail it.
What I want to add.
Spade. Now, hang on, pancakes. Now, Spade, answer your own question.
Oh, He Who Remains, without a doubt. Come on, guys. Even though I like Timely. He Who Remains is He Who Remains. I mean, you can't go wrong with him. But the point of my question was all about, notice how Jonathan Majors' depth of range in creating a different character. We've seen 3 versions of him so far, right? We've seen him in Quantumania, which was Mr. Big Badass, right? We see him in season 1 as He Who Remains, as the cocky, I'm the best Kang there is. And then you see him as Victor Timely, the little nerdy guy with a stuttering problem, and he was afraid to even talk to people or do anything. But he was a con man, though.
I was gonna
So-
say he had a side to him that wasn't all innocent either.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So I really like the fact that they picked an awesome person, regardless of what's happening in his personal life. They picked an awesome person to play Kang in all these different variants. And I hope that everything gets dropped and we get more of this, because honestly, as much as everyone's saying we should drop the multiverse from Marvel, from all MCU movies, I kind of like where this is going, and I want to see where this is going to end up. Not to change it midway and bring in characters, force them through.
Also, to add
I
on
think
to that,
that's-
Doctor Doom deserves his own phase.
Yeah.
I think let's talk about that for a second, right? Like just that little line of dialogue towards the end of the finale where Mobius is looking at the reports and just saying like, oh yeah, like we got everything under control, like like the Timely's variants, or like He Who Remains variants, like yeah, they're fine. There was just one little hiccup in Earth 66, 666 or whatever, 616, but we took care of that. It's okay. And then they just threw that aside, and then everything. So I almost feel like they intentionally, I don't know if that was part of a reshoot or what, but like I can kind of get the idea that they want to use that as an open line just in case they decide like, hey, the story is taken care of, let's move away from Majors. Or if we find a way to keep them, then we'll do then we go by what Spade said, that like they maybe the Kang variants want to find their way to take the throne back from Loki. They could go either way, though, with that one line, is my point. So I think that's something that. Yeah.
I want to hope that it was essentially like the Disney Plus shows, like acknowledging Quantum Mania for a hot second, just to say it like, yeah, no, we're still keeping this in-house. Like, remember, Quantum Mania happened over here. We have to remind you about that. I hope that's the extent of like what it was. Essentially.
So it's, besides that one acknowledgement to the events of Quantumania, what I was going to say earlier is I like how Loki, especially season 2 in particular, stays in its own corner of the MCU. It's in the MCU without being in the MCU, like it's because it's outside of space and time. Like in the first season, you have on the very first episode, they replay the events, how the Loki variant got where he was, pull footage from Avengers, but very little crossover, or of course you have your Easter eggs throughout the show, but no crossover whatsoever needed for the season 2 to tell the story they wanted to tell with the characters they had, what was going on. So I'm kind of glad
in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Loki himself is all the cross, and Loki and just Jonathan Majors himself is all the crossover you need.
Exactly.
Jonathan Majors he was the same guy from Quantum Mania, just a different version of himself. Like Loki is Loki, so that's all you need to know in terms of this is definitely within the same Marvel multiverse universe.
Very easily, they could have gone back in time while there's a fight happening in the background, like the battle for New York, like in the background, and like Loki and Morbius just having a conversation in like the front of the frame, while like Hulk is just like kicking the crap out of aliens. For like this series, like very easily you could have done that with any kind of like time travel. Like they could have done that. That could have been like the easy way out to get like people to watch, but they never did, and I'm so happy that they did that. I fully agree with Pancakes on this one.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta love the fact. You have to love the fact if it wasn't for the Hulk being forced to take the stairs and going smashing through the world through the wall so mad.
He caused all of this to happen.
Yeah.
He took the stairs and then he created the God of Stories. Thank you, Hulk.
Yeah.
That was your last good thing to happen before you turned into Professor Hulk.
And Iron Man and Iron Man indirectly as well, leading to this beautiful series that we got.
Well, Iron Man almost died to make this series happen, so
yeah, that too.
Yeah,
whatever it takes.
Wait, he did die.
Takes.
Wait,
yeah,
he did die.
Technically he
did die.
Well, he
So,
died to save one universe, but he didn't realize he
Spoiler
was
alert.
saving the multiverse too. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
So, guys, is there anything else that we want to say about Loki? Anything else that comes to mind? Any closing arguments?
Ki Kwan is amazing in this show.
Yes.
I don't think we talk about him enough. That guy,
He's my hero.
just watching, like, I was so excited every time he was on screen. I was like, "Ooh, what is he gonna say and what is he gonna do next?" Like, I was happy and giddy because I was like, "Whoa!" Like, his character was like, I get it. It was a super nerdy guy. That's all he did. Blah blah blah. He was he wrote the TVA handbook, even though it was not him, but it was him, and it was him and timely. Like, the point
I love that.
is like he made that show fun.
Mm-hmm.
While as Mobius and Loki made it more serious. So there was a right balance.
Yes.
Exactly. There was a right balance of fun, action, the mystery of it all and everything. So it was great. And I just hope that they continue that with all the other shows or even their movies.
That's what's been missing. That's what's been missing from a lot of these Marvel projects.
The balance.
We talked about it in the Marvels review. Like it's just and like things like Thor: Love and Thunder and whatnot, they skew too much to one side. Yeah, they could be fun movie, but it's too much fun and not enough, just stuff that like really leaves an impression on you. And then Loki had that side to it. Right. And then that's what it just did so damn well. And also too, like with Ki Kwan, QB, Obi, sorry. Obi. His dynamic with Victor Timely was so fucking amazing. Like when they were fanboying over each other.
It was Science Bros all over again, and I was here for it.
And when he mentions in front of Victor that there is a like a hot chocolate, hot cocoa machine, he was like, out of everything that Victor Timely knows, with all the technology that he's created, he's like, wait, there's a machine to create the cocoa? I was like, get the fuck out. And then they start talking about that. That was like one of my favorite scenes in the entire season for sure. That was such a hilarious like dynamic that they had. I wanted to see more of it.
Yeah,
but we got
some so simple, a man out of time from the 1800s, experiencing the simplest technology, and Jonathan Majors in a comical role right there, perfect.
Yeah.
Listen, sometimes the man at a time gimmick can be horribly done, but this time they actually managed to hit the nail on the head with this.
Oh yeah.
Pancakes, go ahead.
Opie, an absolute scene steer as well, right next to Loki himself. Go ahead, Grim.
Well, guys, that's all I gotta say. Anything else? No? Yes?
Get the writers of this show to write Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. Please get these writers to work on this movie. For God's sakes.
I agree. I agree. I think that would work out very well. And if they did half the detail that they did in Loki, the movie would be great.
Yes,
absolutely.
It's right there.
I think that's all the relevant stuff that we have to say about this season going on. Guys, everyone watching, let us know what you think. Put it down in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Let us know how you feel about it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you ready for the God of Stories? Till then, roll credits. We're out.
Roll credits.
Roll credits. And oh my God, Yggdrasil, the world tree. So freaking
amazing. Let's go.
So freaking, I knew I was forgetting something. Okay, roll credits.
Oh my